Some activists demagogue the issue of abortion by framing it as a male versus female issue. This is where this whole idea comes into play that abortion regulation is motivated by a male desire to control women. Whenever I'm confronted with this rhetoric, I like to point out that men and women generally hold similar views on the topic. I cited a 2018 Gallup survey that found that 46% of men identified as pro-choice, whereas 50% of women identified as such. On the pro-life side, 44% of women described themselves that way, whereas 47% of men described themselves as pro-life. So there wasn't a lot of difference between men and women on this issue. A few years later, after the Dobbs decision, the decision that overturned Roe versus Wade, those numbers remained mostly unchanged, with a little bit more movement among both men and women towards the pro-choice position. Internationally, men and women also hold similar views. In some countries, men show slightly more support for abortion than women do. So again, this is not a gender issue. And for obvious reasons. Abortion and abortion regulation affects both men and women. So when men and women describe themselves as pro-choice, they're usually holding certain values and priorities, whereas those who are pro-life hold different values and priorities. The clash is between those values and priorities. It's not between men and women. Now, the reason the issue is framed as a male versus female issue is because it's easier to demagogue that way. It's easier to stir up bitterness and resentment, to distract people, to appeal to prejudice and emotion. Unfortunately, this approach has been very effective. Most discussions about abortion revolve around these very themes.